Welcome back to another video. It is so good to be here, and oh my gosh, what do we have here today? This is the 2018 Honda Civic Type R. And what are we doing today? We're going to go over a few things. Of course, we're going to be in depth, talk about the specifications, how it handles. We're going to take it for a drive. And for all of you cinematic lovers out there, please watch this video all the way through. We're going to have beautiful 4K montages all throughout the video, and let's get started. And before we get started, huge shout out to CTR Motors. They have two locations, one in Provo, Utah and West Valley, Utah, and they are hooking it up with this Type R. In fact, we might be working here at Throttle with the dealership a little bit hand in hand, so let's see how that goes, and I'm super excited about it. I'm done talking, let's look at the car. For starters, just look at this. A little history with the Honda Civic Type R. Of course, this car has been revealed a couple of years ago. It's been so hyped up for years and years, and Honda's Type R heritage is finally continuing. The Type R is Honda's top-end sport car level. And if you think about it, it's kind of like Mercedes-Benz's AMG, Toyota's TRD, BMW's M Series, and this is it, their beloved Type R. What makes this car so cool, and is it worth all the hype? This car starts about $32,000 base MSRP. They're very limited. In fact, there's only two here in the state of Utah, so I'm so grateful to be able to get my hands on one. But in order to get one, in many, many cases you could read online, people are paying upwards of $60,000, about $30,000 over MSRP to get in one of these. Is it worth the hype? I think so, and this is why. Now, I am so excited, but let's just power through the specifications real quick. This is powered by a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that pushes 306 horsepower and 295 pound-foot of torque. I know we live in a performance age today where every car has 600 horsepower, 700 horsepower. It's just kind of crazy. But in those cars, a lot of it is unusable. What I love so much about this car, it is lightweight. It is a 4-door sedan at just 3,100 pounds. That is very light in today's world. It has 306 horsepower and is all 100% usable at the man. Perfect for city thrill driving. JDM boys have been just going crazy over this car, and respectively so, for years. But for regular car enthusiasts, for example me, my car, I love all cars, but specifically European cars. How does this do in comparison with my palette of choices? And I love it. I'm just going to say right now, I love it. This is a front wheel drive car, and it utilizes the 306 ponies so amazingly, so good in fact, that this holds the front wheel drive all-time world record for the Nurburgring Lap Time. And that is insane. This did the Nurburgring in about 7.5 minutes in their front wheel drive cars, and that is a testament that this is pure horse, pure torque, that is actually usable in canyon and city driving. So I've been driving supercars for years. I personally drive a BMW i8, and I love that car. How does this do compared to supercars, and where does this fit into the market? And I think that's very interesting. People think that this car is just, because it's selling for over MSRP, it's just not worth it for the performance you get, but I 100% disagree. Being someone who drives supercars, Audi R8 V10s, 911 GT3s, just pretty much anything out there I've at least driven once. And all of those cars, you kind of have to be in the top end of the power band to start enjoying it. When I'm in my i8, nothing is funner than going over 100 miles per hour in Mexico, of course, not here in the United States, just cruising through the canyons. That's when you enjoy the full potential of the i8. When do you enjoy the full potential of this? City driving. Even having driven supercars, I am just the sound of it, the cabin feel, the noise, the acceleration. Driving this thing in the low-end power band, it's so exhilarating, it's so exotic that it completely finds itself an independent spot in its market, and I think it's phenomenal. Now, just taking a quick glance at this Batmobile, you notice it is not a typical Honda Civic. Let's put a picture of a Honda Civic right here. Yeah, it's not the same thing. And in fact, this car has gotten a lot of heat for its use of fake carbon fiber in the diffuser right here, fake carbon fiber in the front lip. But the thing is, at this price point, $30,000, it's cheaper than a Volkswagen Golf R. It's cheaper than a Subaru STI. At this price point, what do you expect? If they were to put all the carbon fiber and go crazy with that, it would be a more expensive car out of this range, out of this demographic. That being said, I still understand the argument though, because it's not selling for this price point. In some cases, it's selling for double this price point. But regardless of what you think, its opinion, you cannot discredit Honda though for the attention of detail they've made on this car. Every single angle, from the front, the quarter panels, the back, everywhere you look, there is something that is unique to this car, and this car alone in all of Honda's lineup. And to be honest, this car is just pure fire. And again, this gets a little bit of heat for being a little bit too out there, all the louvers. It's just a very crazy car. But to be completely honest, my hat is off to Honda. When in history can you at this price point drive such a good performance car that looks this crazy? Sure, this isn't quite as fast as an STI or a Volkswagen Golf R, because those are all-wheel drive off of launch. They have more traction. This is front-wheel drive, but those cars don't look at this. And when can you ever, at this price point, $30,000, drive a Batmobile in the city? It's never been done before, and I love it. Let's take a look inside. These seats really just hug you in. You could just tell that this is a no-nonsense performance car right when you get in. These seats just love to hug you. That way, when there's body roll, you don't really feel it as much. All right, this interior. So this car has beautiful trim. Of course, it's a race car, so it's got the red and black theme all throughout. You got the carbon fiber trim here, which, you know, it looks good at least. The red along. The seats are super comfy, and what I like about this car is it keeps it simple. What you have is two race seats, two seats in the back for passengers. This is a 4-seater, not a 5-seater. Right there in the center, you just have cup holders, no 5th seat, and that's a big complaint. And that's the only complaint I kind of agree with in the car. But then again, this whole car's purpose is to be a lightweight race car for the streets. Everything is super simple and ergonomical, and on top of it, this is very intuitive. If you look at the steering wheel, the left side has all your phone options, Bluetooth, talk to the car, you got your volume for the radio, and the right side is cruise control. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Simple, intuitive, I like it. The lights are just like any other Honda. It is a beam on the top left. You don't actually have a light switch, but it's okay, it's a Honda. Closing the door, you have some suede inserts with contrast red stitching. You got the carbon fiber piece again. Feels nice and roomy. And the attention to detail in this car is phenomenal, and it fulfills its purpose so well. What I'm so impressed right here is this. You have a Type R Civic plate with the actual serial number, if you will, for this specific car. Now, is that a little bit of a gimmick? Sure, but supercars do that. Lamborghinis do that. Special edition Ferraris do that. And now you have this without making it yourself in your garage, stock from the factory on a $30,000 car. And I think that's pretty cool. This car is available in one option, and it is just a 6-speed manual. And that's kind of a testament that this is just a driver enthusiast car, and I love it. The cabin is so simple, so clean, intuitive, and very driver focused. Let's start it up. All right, so the dash is fully electronic. The gauges look really cool. It tells you what mode you're in as you drive. I'm going to put it in R, Sport, comfort. You know, it's got an European feel to it, even though it's a $30,000 Japanese car, and I love it. Everything you need is in between this little infotainment screen and the gauges, and you don't need anything else. There are complaints online that there's no volume button or anything, and yes, the volume buttons are on the steering wheel and this touchscreen, but you have Apple CarPlay in a Honda, so how much could you really complain? Enough talking, let's take this thing for a spin. Here we have the key. Of course, the car is push to start. You can just leave this in your pocket, put your foot on the clutch, put your foot on the brake, push to start, you're good to go. And before we do go, this is my good friend Aaron. He is with CTR Motors, and he actually reached out to me via Instagram. Instagram plug right here. Follow Tanner and I and CTR Motors. And they reached out to me, and now we're testing out this car. So thank you so much, Aaron.
No problem.
And thank you for joining us too. You know, I wanted him to come along, see what we do, and I think he's having fun.
I'm having fun for sure. So let's go.
We're out of the narrow, scary parking garage. That was some fun driving. Let's drive this Type R. Dude, it does not sound like a 4-cylinder, man. Let's have you guys decide. Let me put it in R mode that turns traction control off.
Power, yeah.
So much power, man. I know on paper 295 pound-foot of torque does not seem like an insane amount, but we gotta remember 3,100 pounds is insanely light, especially for a 4-door sedan. And you could tell how lightweight this is when you drive it. Not only is it powerful, but it is the perfect ratio of power to weight. I feel like I'm in a zippy small car. Unlike the Bentley we drove last week, where that's a 12-cylinder and twice the weight. This pulls hard, and not just that, I imagine where I want to be, and this car goes there almost telecommunically. Like, it's just handles so well, and I love it. Hopefully you guys don't get sick from my driving. And of course, we're following all speed limit laws, and we're keeping it under the speed limit.
We are.
Under 55.
$30,000. What do you get? Well, this is a manual. It has rev matching. It has brake hold. It has an electronic parking brake. It has 3 different driving modes. You truly get so much bang for your buck. And of course, it is a Type R, meaning it is a sports car, meaning it is designed for driving. So there's not too much extra things in here to weigh that car down. It is a lightweight car. And it just shows you throughout the whole car when you drive it. This feels like I'm driving a Batmobile. I have an electronic gauge. I have an Apple CarPlay unit. I have my rev matching. I don't need anything else. All right, what are your thoughts, man?
I mean, this car's just amazing. I just love it. Like, outside, inside, everything on it.
It's just so special, right? It's so unique. Nothing else is like this. Especially at this price point. Like, this car sounds menacing. In fact, I don't even know how much of this footage is usable. That's why I'm filming right now at a red light, because this car is unbelievably loud, and it does not sound racery, you know? It sounds nice. It sounds sort of exotic. It sounds like you would not expect it from a Honda Civic. Whatever it sounds like does not belong to a Honda Civic, but I'm glad it's from a Honda Civic.
It definitely calls a lot of attention, for sure.
Oh yeah. We were driving by in the parking garage. We were driving down, and there was a group of girls there, and they were like, woo, like making noises at us while we were driving by, which you would not ever expect from a Honda Civic. So this is a car. Tires just spinning there. Too much power. Tires just spin. We just It is just such a blast. Even just on the freeway, putting it in neutral, putting it to a different gear, and having the rev match go on and just listening to the rev match. Such a fun car. And I've never been in such a fast front wheel drive before. And the sensation is unlike anything I felt before. The sensation of being pulled forward so dramatically, I've never experienced that. The most exotic noises a four-cylinder can make, a crazy functional hood scoop, red Brembo brakes, a wide body kit, a huge wing that would put the Batmobile to shame. What else could you ask for from a heart-pumping, racing, fast, torquey little car? I am blown away, and I'm sorry if I sound a little bit biased, but I am just truly shocked. Coming into this car review, I did not know what I was expecting. I've read a few negative things. I've read a lot of positive things, but being someone who enjoys European cars, I did not know if I could get into this, and oh boy, am I converted. I understand the JDM mindset now. I understand why people love Japanese cars, and this is the pinnacle of the perfect Japanese car. It is so good for city driving. It is so good for city racing, and I don't want to leave it. Thank you so much for watching the video, and this has been the Honda Civic Type R.